What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing awesome and taking care of yourselves. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Man, what a day, what a day. There's so many stories coming out right now, you wouldn't even believe it if I told you. So let's get into this story about the Joker. Now, it's a real story. I will say that I just watched The Batman with Robert Pattinson, and you may or may not be a Batman fan. That's fine, and you may or may not be a Robert Pattinson fan. That's fine. But you know that movie is actually kind of interesting. It's like the movie Seven with Batman in it, and it has a lot of great scenes in it and a lot of decent, I would say, very good acting, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. If you're looking for a different kind of Batman movie, which is what they were going for, they were going for something that was like basically bringing him back to the beginning of being a detective. Actually, DC Comics stands for Detective Comics. I never knew that. I was watching it behind the scenes. But a fantastic movie. Has Colin Farrell as the Penguin. If you haven't seen the new Penguin series, you should go check it out on HBO. Man, it's so good. It's so good. And I mean, he totally transforms into the Penguin. You don't even think it's Colin Farrell at all. His accent is amazing. And in this movie, the Riddler, it has nothing to do with like Jim Carrey's The Riddler back in the 90s. I mean, this Riddler is terrifying. He's got like tape over his mouth. He's got a mask on. He's got glasses. He's using social media to like communicate with people. It's really, really interesting. So go check it out if you haven't seen it. It's definitely worth your time. I think that a lot of people are stuck on Marvel, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta go watch all the Marvel movies," but don't sleep on the DC ones, man. Some DC ones are really good, including The Flash. If you like a good comedy action with Michael Keaton in it as Batman, the new Flash that came out, was it 2023 or something like that? That one's great. I've watched it twice. It's hilarious. The main kid that plays him, my brain's not working. I'm so used to watching the Flash show. Who's in the Flash? It's Ezra Miller. Yeah, Ezra Miller. He's really good in it. I know he had gotten into like some legal trouble and whatever, but I mean, he's really good. So let us look at this particular case. It's called the Joker. It's called the Joker. Why is it called the Joker? Because these people, unfortunately, came face to face with an entity that had a smile, a terrifying smile, from ear to ear one night. This goes back to 2004, I believe it does, and it states that they had encountered an individual with dark-colored clothing and a hooded jacket of some kind. The face was not human. It had a huge evil smile on its face. The smile literally went from one side of the face to the other, and this is the story. So this incident took place near Wheeling, West Virginia during the winter of 2002. I've told a few people, those that I can trust, and asked for their honest opinion. Ever since it occurred, I've been puzzled and completely frightened. I'm going to be specific and honest on all the details. Please don't judge me, but my girlfriend and I used to go to a local treatment center for opiate addiction and counseling. Since starting treatment, I've remained clean, and I'm very proud of that. It's been difficult with diligence and support, but we've gotten through it, though I can honestly say that this incident I'm about to describe made breaking my dependency more difficult. Any encounter that is stressful is going to be a problem for folks that are dealing with addiction. I've worked with folks with addictions for years and dealt with my own as well. Many of our appointments were in the evening around 5 to 6 p.m. The center that they go to is about a mile off the interstate on a wooded road with a few other businesses around. Now, you can imagine West Virginia is very rural. It's got a lot of great hiding places for any aliens or paranormal entities that want to hide out there. So on this day, it was about 5:15, and it was dark, except for a few sparsely placed streetlights. It was extremely cold, and there was an inch or so of snow on the ground. We had just driven off the interstate exit onto the wooded road when we noticed someone ahead of us on the right shoulder walking towards the center. I thought it might be another patient in the facility, so I asked my girlfriend if she knew who it was and see if we could give them a lift. Never give lifts to hitchhikers, right? I used to live next to a psych hospital, and there was a jagged spiked fence that had a sign on it that said, "Do not pick up hitchhikers." And I had to ask my mom, why? Why wouldn't you pick up hitchhikers? Geez, wouldn't they be nice and, need a lift? And she said they might be escaped mentally ill patients, so you wouldn't want to pick them up. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't understand what it was at the time when I was a kid, but now I get it. Okay, so we had, let's see. As we approached, I slowed down to get a good look at this person. When I got nearer, the figure stopped. It turned its head and looked directly at us. What I witnessed was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. It had dark-colored clothing, a hooded jacket of some kind. The face, well, it just wasn't human. It had a huge, evil smile on its face. The smile literally went from one side of the face to the other, and the teeth were enormous, but not sharp. The teeth reminded me of horses' teeth. That's interesting. And the overall expression was similar to the Joker from the animated Batman TV cartoon. I remember my girlfriend gasped and then ducked to hide her face. Needless to say, we didn't stop, but I had to get another look. I needed to figure out what it was we saw. I turned the car around at a driveway and went back. My girlfriend quickly crawled into the back seat and covered herself up. She didn't want any part of this. This dude's got balls. Turn around. This thing might be an entity, man. It might not even be real, right? They're saying it wasn't even human. And you got the balls enough to turn around and see what it was? Good on you, man. I turned around and reached the spot where I had seen it. No more than 30 seconds had gone by and it was gone. There was nowhere this thing could have gone. There's a high link fence between the road and the edge of the woods. On the other side of the road is a creek. The thing simply vanished. Another car was coming from the direction of the interstate and slowed to see if everything was all right. I asked them if they had seen anyone walking on the shoulder, but they hadn't either. After we couldn't find it, I asked my girlfriend to describe to me what she saw. She also compared it to the Joker. We are still a couple, and I've talked about this experience in detail many times. I don't know what it was. I know it was not human. It seemed evil. I felt it deep in my soul. I know how this comes across, but I can assure you this incident is 100% true. It's interesting that people can say or ascertain or deduct that some entity is evil automatically. They say and they feel it deep in their soul. I wonder how, what that feels like. Does it feel empty? Does it feel like a void? Does it feel like fear? Well, we always fear what we don't know. We always fear the unknown. We always have questions about it. And once we have our questions answered, honestly, sometimes we feel a little bit better about it. We understand it a little bit more. We understand how to defend ourselves against it a little bit more. But when this is an entity they've never met, this is a person that maybe they've never met, and when they saw this thing, was it a mask? Was it painted on? Was it something else? There's a lot of things it could be. When you're driving past something and you see it, and it happens so fast. But I can say this, that the human eye is extremely perceptive, even with fast images that it collects. So there's what's called photographic memory, which means you can see something and instantly you can recall it in your mind in great detail. Some people have it, some people don't. You could argue people that are dealing with recovery might not have the best memory. That's 100% true. I've dealt with my own recovery myself and have not always had the best memory. But if you're clean, you're sober, sometimes your senses are so heightened that you can tell everything with as much or maybe more heightened awareness than your standard sober person. So, but these folks were sober and they saw it, and you can see it quickly and ascertain whether or not it's a mask or if it's some weird entity and it's part of the entity. The smile, was it part of the entity? Was it flowing like the part of an entity? This is in 2004, okay? Way before they had these realistic masks, these latex masks that look really real, you know, and why would it be walking in a completely rural area towards a recovery clinic wearing a mask and had nowhere to go? This dude literally turned around, went right back, and couldn't find it. Sometimes I keep talking and I don't take enough breaths in. And my body forces me to yawn. It's not that I'm bored or anything like that. And so I have to remember to breathe. Breathe when you're talking. So, you know, he stated that it was 18 months since they had witnessed this thing when he wrote this article. He says, I've still not received any plausible explanation. Was it natural, which I doubt, or was it a real monster? I appreciate your thoughts. And that's what he wrote. Unfortunately, there's no comments in here to really get other people's opinion on it, so we're left to our own devices. I have never come across an entity that I would say was not human, or at least, I don't know, explainable. So I couldn't say one way or the other. You know, like I said, I've had my own abduction events, but I didn't go into hypnosis to find out what exactly it was. So I can't explain what those entities were, or which species they were, anything like that. But this is really interesting because that Smile movie came out. If you remember that Smile movie coming out, God, when did that come out? Let me see when it came out. It wasn't too long ago, 2022. And in that movie, basically the plot of the movie is that it's about a therapist who witnesses a bizarre suicide of a patient and then experiences increasingly disturbing and daunting experiences that lead her to believe she's experiencing something supernatural. And basically the plot is that she believes she is being terrorized by an invisible entity that appears as various smiling people, and they foretold her death. And she begins screaming and choking, prompting her therapist to call for help. And then Laura suddenly becomes unnaturally calm, smiles, and then fatally kills herself. I'm not going to say how. So, yeah. So that's pretty wild. You know, it's these movies too. You know, like I'm all for, you know, having fun at the movies and stuff like that. But I often wonder if these movies that they put out aren't just bad energy, man. Just bad energy to be putting out in the universe, that we should be focusing on some positive movies. And I know there's lots of uplifting movies out there too, but as a society, you know, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to say, hey, you shouldn't watch scary movies. I got Beetlejuice in the bag. That's not necessarily a scary movie. But what I'm saying is that, like, some of these movies where it's a lot of violence and stuff like it can't be good for your psyche, man. I remember being a kid and I watched like Nightmare on Elm Street, and I had like nightmares about Freddy for like years until I just beat his ass in my dreams, and I never had a problem again. So I think when it comes to these movies, you know, like, it should be a certain age. And I think you should have a certain mindset too. Too many people are like copycat people too. You know, and they go out and they try to recreate the shit that happens in these movies, stuff like that. It's just we got to be careful, man. You know, with what we're putting out into society. And you know, I do these podcasts because I believe, you know, maybe I can help other folks. Maybe I can find out the truth for myself. Maybe through talking with you guys, we can find out the truth together. And I don't try to bring any negativity into the world necessarily. I try not to. I'm not perfect, but I think, you know, when you're making like these really like psychological supernatural horror films and stuff like that, some negative things can really happen. There's a lot of negative things that happen on different horror sets. You know, Exorcist and all these other ones, and Poltergeist and all kinds of stuff. Just crazy shit happened on those sets, and you have to wonder if it wasn't because they were cursed because of the subject matter they were working on. They were bringing entities and bringing, you know, energy in that they shouldn't have. You know, I don't know. Just thinking out loud. Anyway, so yeah, that's the story. That's the story about the Joker that they saw. I mean, have there ever been any other stories about Joker stories? I haven't heard any. This is the first I've ever heard of some sort of like smiling entity. I mean, I've seen these stupid videos on TikTok where people dress up like clowns and they try to terrorize people in the streets, and those motherfuckers are going to get shot one day because they're going to fuck with the wrong person in a concealed carry state or open carry state, and it's going to be over for them. So, like, don't mess around like that. Be careful. Halloween's coming up. Don't mess with people. Have fun. Trick or treat. Be safe. So that's what I got for tonight. I hope you guys enjoy. Hopefully you don't encounter some weirdly smiling entity. I often think of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt from WWE. Most people don't watch wrestling anymore now that, you know, Hulk Hogan and The Rock are gone and stuff like that. But there was a guy, a new gimmick that they had, and the Fiend was basically what these people sound like they encountered. He wears a mask and he has these really sharp teeth that go from ear to ear, and looks pretty terrifying. He's got like dreadlocks coming out the back of his hair, and mask and stuff. It's pretty interesting, pretty creative. But does it have anything to do with this case? No. So let me know what you think. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. I'd like to hear what your opinions are. Leave a comment in the comment section. Love to hear it. I hope you guys take care of yourselves spiritually, physically, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves as much as you can. Go like, follow, share, subscribe. Remember, there's a Buy Me a Coffee at Locked On Universe. You can just type that in, and you can always leave a coffee. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Peace.